Yes, people. Big up, manners and respect every single time. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching from. It is still morning on my side. I apologize. I'm outside my normal streaming window. So if this podcast infringes upon something else that you were doing at this time, sorry, but not sorry. I welcome you. Thank you for being here. Please hit the like button if you can. Ambition, no matter your condition. That's the theme for today's show. You can have ambition, no matter your condition. You could be bottom half of the table. You could be drowning in goal difference debt. You could owe the Premier League goals. You can still have ambition. You can still go to the reigning Premier League champs and play like you won 3 points. Yeah, you hear that, Mikhail? You can actually play for 3 points away at Anfield. You don't have to be a timid little man like you played, pretty much like your playing career. But yeah, there is more fallout from yesterday. I think I cooked the Liverpool fans too much. So much so, them man unsubscribed from the channel. A whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of Liverpool fans unsubscribed from the channel. But you know what? They say all money ain't good money. All sub ain't good subs. Because if you can't take the cooking, then I don't want to hear from you when you're top of the table. And then you're a sore loser. They used to have this thing in the NFL, what they used to talk about, right? When teams used to go through some rut, go through some adversity, they used to say, losing builds character. No, the fuck it doesn't. Losing reveals character. Man, they will show their true self when they start to lose. When stuff gets uncomfortable, they'll show their true selves. Yeah? So all the shade that's being thrown, you had that feeling all along. You know what I'm saying? You ever see that movie Shutters? And if you know, like people from where they said take the weed and left the money now. Take the what and left the what? Nah, you want the praise and you want the glory, you gotta accept the criticism. That's how it goes. That's how it absolutely goes. Big up to Oregon Goon, big up to Gooner SD, big up to Gavin, big up to Scants in the building. I see y'all. But the title of today's show, or the feeling around the things that I want to talk about today is, yes, ambition no matter your condition. You can have all the ambition in the world. Because right now, if you're United, you look at the table and you see yourself 2 points off Liverpool. Who would have thought that? Who the hell would have thought that? And we're also going to discuss why the damn Arsenal attack looks so damn impotent. Yeah, we're going to ask these uncomfortable questions. Whether we're on top of the table or not, we still can speak about these things. Big up to Bluebird. Big up to AJ. My mod. Love. Gavin, what you saying to us? This guy, the legend that is Oregon Goon. Big up to Goon at SC, man. Hope you are good, my bro. Manners and respect every single time. Now, the first order of business. The first order of damn business, yeah? The set piece thing. We're going to have to put the set piece thing to bed, right? Because as much as it looks uncomfortable or it's a bad watch, the NBA starts tomorrow, right? I am a basketball connoisseur. I love basketball, NFL. I watch it all. I do it all, right? So here's the thing. When it comes to the set pieces, Steph Curry, we know Steph Curry is the greatest shooter to ever play in the NBA, right? Steph Curry is that dude. Steph Curry gives you 30 points a game in his sleep, right? But if Steph Curry's shot is not falling, if his 3-point shot is not falling, right? And he drives to the rim, and he's driving to the rim, and he's getting fouled every time he gets to the rim, so he's not making his layups. But he gets fouled because he's driving to the rim, and he goes to the line, and he makes 30 free throws. Because he makes them all. He shoots 90%. Yep, he takes 100 free throws. He makes more than 90 of them. So he takes 30 free throws and leaves the game with 30 points. You look at the stat sheet, he's over 12 from the field, but he's 30 for 30 from the line. And he makes all of his fucking free throws, and he gets 30 points. Does any Warriors fan care? Nope, the Dubs won the game. The Dubs got the dub, right? So however you get your points, however you get your gold, that's how you get it. Now, of course, we would like to see flowing attack and fluid football. That's what we do. That's what we grew up on. That's what Uncle Wenger spoiled us with. That's what Uncle Wenger was able to use to get away with not winning shit for so long, because the football is beautiful to watch. But I am going to criticize Mikel for not being able to coach the attack, but I'm not going to complain about the set pieces unless I start to see Premier League teams, when they get corners, they pass it back to their goalkeeper. That's when I'll get on to us for scoring from our set pieces. Until then, I will not, because it will never fucking happen. Every single team, when they get on their set pieces, try to score from them. We just happen to do it. So keep doing it. Keep scoring from your set pieces. Now, if you win the game 3-0, and one of them is from a set piece and two are from open goals, I don't care which order they come in. If you score to open up a team from a set piece and then you go on to play fluid football because now they have to come on to you and you score 3 goals, calm. Or if you score 2 goals and then you put pressure on them and you get a set piece and you score from it, calm. But how do you get corners to score from? You have to be attacking, don't you? You have to be attacking. So whether Steph Curry is 10 of course the NBA would love for Steph Curry's 30 points to be 10 threes, 10 of 10 from behind the arc, raining threes, Sports Center highlights. But Steve Kerr, Draymond Green, KD when he was there, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, Andre Livingston, these unsung heroes, they don't care how Steph gets his points. 30 points is 30 points. So you will get no criticism from me from the set pieces. As long as we keep scoring them, fuck them. Score yours. Or pass it back to your goalie. Right? Kick it back to Allison. Kick it back to Donnarumma. Kick it back to Sanchez. Do not try to score from your corners. But we're going to keep scoring from ours. We're not going to do that, right? Now, because another thing with the set piece thing, you never see what's more likely to happen. Us continue to win from our set pieces, or Man City continue to be Haaland dependency. Because it's Erling Haaland that's scoring all their goals. If Erling Haaland stops scoring, that's the equivalent of us stop scoring from our set pieces. What's more likely to occur first? Him stop scoring or us fighting around in the box and getting a set piece? What we practice. But who's getting on to Man City? Oh, it's only Haaland that's scoring their goals. It was 1-0 at Brentford. Who scored it? Haaland. It was deadlock on the hour mark against Everton without their best player because of Premier League loan rules. Jack Grealish couldn't play. Who unlocked them? Haaland. So the Haaland dependency is just as a dangerous game to play as the set piece things. What I do like about our set piece thing is that whenever we do get a set piece, everyone gets nervous. All the hate-alongs, all the rivals, and they're watching the hate-along. Or we get a corner, they're nervous because they know what's coming. Now, I do have to address the point where it looks like I have to ask the question, people. Have we gotten so good at set pieces that we have forgotten how to play football? That's what it seems like. It seems like the set pieces are so drilled that on the training pitch today and tomorrow, we're not going to work on, triangles and formation overloads and try to exploit this high press doing that. We are just going to work on set pieces. It seems like that's what it is. Set piece that we've forgotten how to play the rest of the game. Because how is it? How is it that damn phone rang and threw me off. Apologize. How is it, right, that we can sign one of the most prolific strikers in all of Europe last year, one of the best creative 10s in the Premier League, and can't score goals from open play? Both those things can be highlighted. We can highlight our set piece dominance, but we can also highlight how we're not scoring because we have 15 goals, 9 from corners, 2 pens. That's 60% of our goals. 9 out of 15, that's roughly 60%. And I hate to use the word sustainable, but it seems of some sorts. Big up to Scanty. Big up to Ozzy. Ozzy in the building. Love, bro. Hope you are good. Manners and respect every time. Set piece again. Ole. Yeah. Scan say, hey, when you lift the trophy, who cares? Who the hell cares? United won their damn treble off a corner against Bayern Munich. Who gives a damn? Why is it all of a sudden a big talking point? They only score from corners. Like, you can't call yourself a content creator, call yourself a football analyst, and that's your analysis. They only score from corners. Like, what are you doing? How do you get a corner? Or defenders just getting the ball and kicking it out their own end and giving Arsenal free corners. You get corners from sustained pressure. Sustained probing. You probe, you probe, you probe. You get your corner, you score from it. What's the problem? I don't see what the problem is. But that doesn't mean we can't criticize how lackluster and how impotent the attack looks. Not gonna lie, we have to speak on that. Now, I have to call it out when I go on shows with the, don't want to call them top gooners because apparently that offends them now. But people who really like Arteta, who defend him to the end, right? And then I ask you, okay, why are we not playing well? Why is the attack not free flowing? And I ask them, what do you put that down to? Because we have the players. These men don't all of a sudden forget how to play football. What do you put that down to? And they will not say it. They will not come around to saying it's the damn manager, it's the system. Because we still haven't gotten the Crystal Palace Eze. What we are seeing is the Arteta version of Eze. It doesn't make any sense. This boy did not forget how to play football. Go for Palace. And how is it that Oliver Glasner has lost Olise, Oliver Glasner has lost Eze, and his system still look fluid? He is still playing attacking football. He is still scoring a lot of open play goals. Why isn't him losing top players isn't killing his attack? But we're gaining top players. One of the most prolific strikers in Europe, one of the best creative teams in the Premier League. We're importing these players into our squad, and we're looking worse from open play. What is it? Big up to Aaron. Big up to you, bro. Oh, Lord. Aaron said he sent me a text. Of course, man. Of course. Let me drop this link to Aaron real quick, people. I don't get many chances to stream with the star, bro. But I must. Absolute must. Exactly. The team has their issues. We depend on set pieces. City depend on Holland. Liverpool depended on Trent. Lord of mercy. Oh Lord, uncomfortable conversations. Now I don't know how many Liverpool fans agreed with me when I said that. When I said last year's version of Liverpool is better than this one. Do they agree now? Do they? Because last year's Liverpool had that guy, Trent, who made Mo Salah look like Mo Salah. Right? Last year's Liverpool team had Diaz. You know, like Trent and Diaz, they're like the father. They're like the man in the home, right? No one misses him. No one appreciates him until he's gone, till his presence is no longer there. Devin Hester, punt return specialist. Teams found out to keep it away from him. Oh, shit. Scans is on it today. Devin Hester, the first guy to run back a Super Bowl. A kickoff in a Super Bowl. I remember that Super Bowl. That was the Bears and the Colts? I'm trying to remember if it was the Bears and the Colts, but the Bears were in the Super Bowl. Yep, Devin Hester run that damn kickoff straight back into the end zone. Team started kicking it out of bounds. Hey, we'll take the penalty. We will take the damn penalty. We are not. No free spirits. And that's why Ethan can't touch the pitch. He cannot touch the pitch. Now we look at Fulham. We look at the Fulham game, and I'm hearing reasons. I'll call them excuses. We won the game, so it's hard to call it excuses, right? But when I say things like, you can't be applying our London Derby tax to that, right? No, we just saw the Manchester Derby. There was open goals in it. We just saw the biggest rivalry in English football. Form goes out the window. That man played football. That first half, I saw my team doing short corners and long throws. No, that couldn't happen. I don't know if I can trust these guys to flip a switch and go up a gear next week against Atletico, because there seemed to be this consensus around Atletico, like they are just gonna come to the Emirates and play 2 banks of 5. Nah, Atletico can play ball. They can open up teams. Julian Alvarez, they have some ballers in their team, and they can cook. What we can't do is do what we've done against Fulham and West Ham against them, man. Because them, man, have top ballers. And Simeone is a tactician. He will know how to nullify some of our strengths. Atletico is not that type of team that you can bully, right? But we have to ask these questions. How is it that Oliver Glasner can lose all these players and their team still looks like they know how to play football? But we gained their best player, and that's the thing. Now we've taken their best player. Now they come to the Emirates now, so we can't have a stinker against these men. No way, no how. Absolute madness. But I want to, if I'm going to ask people who support the club holistically and look beyond the manager, what do you put it down to? Why do we look this bad in open play? Because that game was surely heading for a draw, right? Surely heading for a draw at Newcastle. These are the fine margins. You see it in the thumbnail, right? Or in the title. Liverpool went from 6 points, no, 5 point lead, 4-point deficit in 3 match weeks. Our November is very, very tough. Our November got us, is it Chelsea, Bayern, Tottenham, some tricky fixtures in there. So we have to fix up, and we have to fix up quick. The robot is robotic. The attack is just, the ball doesn't move quick enough. If I take you to the Tottenham game yesterday, right? Take you to the Tottenham game yesterday. You don't even have to watch the entire game. Go look at the third goal in that match. The third goal in that match is the antithesis of what we are as a club, how we play football in Arsenal. Look at the Villa goal. Matty Catch is the last defender. And the ball is in play for him. The ball is about to drop to him. He has a Villa player telling him to go back to Martinez for a safe pass. Acres of grass back there. 1-1. Matty Catch looks and sees a teammate up the pitch and say, bun that. We're not doing this reset thing. The goal is that way. One times it out wide. Man takes a great touch, passes it to Emi Buendia. 3 seconds later, the ball is in the net. That's instinctive, direct football. Pass the ball that way. 9 times out of 10, if that's us, that pass is going back to Raya. God, I don't trust. I think Zubi can make that pass. But Declan is taking that touch and he's passing it back. Odegaard is passing that back. And I think if Eze tries that and doesn't pull it off, he's getting a bollocking. But that goal is how you play football. Instinctive. Pass the ball forward. If we have the ball, they can't score. That's the mantra. Just try to keep things ticking. Pass, 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 pass. Death by 1,000 passes. No. Pass the ball forward, man. We like to see the team move. We're gonna have to see the team move differently against Atletico. We're gonna have to see the team moves different when we go into the matches against Chelsea, the matches against Tottenham, Bayern. Tough fixtures ahead. Absolute tough fixtures. But I'm gonna force their feet. I'm gonna make them admit, and they're gonna have to give answers. Why is it that we look so bad? There's a reason. There is a reason why 60%. Because here's the thing. We can't just, when Liverpool were leaving it late, we praised them for having monster mentality, championship DNA and all that. But we also said it was not sustainable scoring off set pieces, leaving it late. Well, that same logic applies to us. The laws of football don't change from team to team. If it wasn't sustainable for Liverpool, it's not going to be sustainable for us. Now, we can flip it and spin the narrative and say, well, we're top of the league and we haven't clicked yet. That's legitimately the same thing that we said about Liverpool. And that's the same thing they say, hey, we're 5 for 5 and we haven't clicked yet. And bang, it hasn't clicked. So they've lost 4 in a row and they're 2 points off Man United. It can happen to us. We're not immune to adversity. We're not. And speaking of adversity, right? Big up DA. Man, that's not respect, bro. Speaking of adversity, right? An injury crisis hasn't hit Liverpool yet. You know, it's not. They're not playing this poorly due to injury. This is just poor form. Like I've heard someone ask the question, "What happens if Van Dijk goes down with an injury?" Of course, we're not wishing injury on any player, but yeah, that's a grave concern. You can't even say an injury on Salah at this point because shit, someone else he probably needs to be dropped. And if they play Rio or Chiesa out there, they might get more out of him. But there's a reason why Chiesa is not starting. What's that reason? That reason that I put in Waffle Don's chat earlier. Arne Slot could be getting, hey, this guy is really good as an impact sub, and I'm going to keep it that way. Because maybe if I start him, or when I do start him, he'll drop stinkers like when we start Trossard. But at this point, that may be a risk he will have to take. Because we didn't know that about Trossard until we actually started starting him for an extended period of time. And then we realized, okay, when this guy starts, he just seems like he just doesn't know how to play football. He has the entire goal to aim at when he's a starter, but he's choosing to go near post and still putting it wide, near post. But when he comes on, drops his shoulder, opens his hips, and puts it in the far corner every time. Don't know. So Eze makes that pass before. Yeah, but that's the thing. He'll attempt it, and if it doesn't come off, he gets a bollocking. He gets a talking to. I saw him give the ball away. I saw Eze give the ball away sometime in the first half. He had it, held it, did a couple of steps, advanced, and they eventually crowded him and got the ball off of him. And then the ball went the other way, and I was like, "Ooh, Arteta's not gonna like that." Arteta is not going to like that he gave the ball away. But the thing is, Eze is the type of footballer that dribbles with the intent to pass, and the entire attack was static. There was no movement. Because in that position, what they're always used to is someone making a safe pass. Sideways, back. Big up to DA saying, abuse the live people. Hit the shit out that light. We defend better. We defend a lot better than a team. That's the difference. So that the thing is, at some point, the attack is going to have to catch up with the defense. Because I trust the defense. The manager trusts the defense. But when I see you locking up shop with 30 minutes on the clock, and they were given an additional 9 minutes, so 39 minutes we had to play with no creative spark on the pitch. So essentially, seeing that again with 39 minutes, essentially you're inviting pressure onto you for what? You can't invite pressure onto you from Premier League teams. You know, Steven Gerrard will tell you that one slip can change history. One man slips, bang. One mistake, someone switches off. 3 goals. We've conceded 3 goals in 8 matches. Right? So we're on track to concede less than 25 goals. Right? 3 goals in 8. So that would be what? 6 goals in 16, 9 goals in 24, 12 goals in 32. Yeah, we're on track to concede less than 30 goals. That has to mean something. Trust your attack, trust your defense, and use it as a license to go attack teams. Now, part of us talking about getting Gyökeres, we have to speak on it. We have to speak on Gyökeres. He did get 2 good shots off, forced 2 good saves out of Leno, and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate my striker getting 2 chances, half chances, turn, bang, bang at the keeper. That's what he does. But when we go to Anfield and we start him and we start Moreno, Rice, and Odegaard behind him, I'm sitting there like, okay, he's not going to get the ball off today. He's out there for his defensive work, right? He's going to be a defensive striker. Right? Or against City, or against or today, or yesterday. Because as soon as we scored, we scored in the 58th minute. In the 50th minute, we scored. In the 61st minute, he comes off. Like, who does that? You score a goal and you immediately take off your most creative player. It seems that that's the attack it seems that that's the lineup that Arteta wanted to start with in the first place, because that the very first opportunity to hook him, he hooked him and threw Moreno on. Now, if he took If he took off Eze to bring on Ethan, or he took off even Odegaard, I could appreciate and understand it. But we score a goal and then you immediately take off Eze. That's what's the message being sent there? We know that managers send message with their substitution patterns and their lineup, right? We saw a slot last year, even after they won the league, still didn't play Diaz up front. Still didn't play Nunes up front. He played Diaz. He was sending a signal to the board, this is not my guy. So managers do these type of things. So what's the why? What is the why? Aaron, what is the why, my friend? Welcome, man. Welcome to the channel,
You
my
pick
friend.
up, brother. Thank you for having me on, man.
Why? Why would you score a goal and immediately take off your best creative player? Like, explain. I'm not. This is not a dig. I swear. I'm not being utterly negative. I'm trying to comprehend, trying to understand his train of thoughts with 30 minutes left on the clock. Not to go try to kill off the game and score more goals, but to kind of shore it up a bit.
What was that? The Marina sub, was it? Yeah. Sorry, because I was sorting the kids out and getting on, I weren't able to catch up with you 100%. And also, you'll have to forgive me because by the time Arsenal kicked off at 5:30 UK time, I was down the pub since 11:45.
Hey.
So I'm not 100% sharp on the exact pinpoint of what happened in the game. However, yeah, look, it's sort of it encapsulates what this manager's all about, doesn't it? It's just you've got your one goal, and to a small degree, I can appreciate-ish the need to get the win. However, not straight away. Like, and also, you know, you don't have to shit the bed straight away either, do you? We've got a manager that goes, right, we've got one goal, and the first thing in his head is just like, right, how can we lock off this game? How can we seal it? How can we make sure that we just absolutely close shop and nothing else happens? Now, when it works, okay, but I want to be able to be okay with it once we win something. Now, just like under George Graham, you can go, yeah, they play boring and shit football. And then you can go, but they won the league in '89. They won the league in '91. They won the League Cup and FA Cup in '93 and the European Trophy in 2004. In '94. The latter two of which is the last time we've won a European and League Cup, by the way. So you can look back on that and now go, well, yeah, it absolutely worked. However, under this sort of regime and this setup, it's like, okay, cool. You're doing it, and you've done it for the last 3 seasons now, well, 2 and this season, and it's still unproven in terms of success. Now, at the end of this season, if he's doing what he's doing, I'd be willing to go, this season it worked. But what we'll get, Taron, is we'll get all of the top morons, yeah, going, see, this is what we told you, this is what we've been waiting for. All right, well, yes, it validates the 25-26 season and his tactics, because if he wins it, it validates it for the 25-26 season. It invalidates it for the 24-25 season because he didn't win anything. It invalidates it for the 23-20. You know where I'm going with this. I'm sorry, until I see it work, we will be critical. I will wonder why he doesn't bring on some of his talent. And I will also go on the other side and say, look, I can somewhat appreciate that in certain games, you know, he might go a little bit more defensive once you've got a 1-0 lead in a tricky game away where we've struggled the last 2 seasons. However, that can't still shirk away the timing of said substitution and the fact that, you know, you can bring on some geezer. Big up, Waffle, man. Big up to you every single bloody time, my friend. You can't shirk away from the fact that you can't just keep being negative every time. You can't keep dismissing the likes of, I think when I came on, I overheard you saying the Nuaneris, etc. I can appreciate a Max Dowman in a 1-0 game with 20 minutes to go, and you think, all right, he is a little bit lightweight, he's still very young, but Ethan's a sizey lad. He's not a mug, and last season he can hustle and bustle. You know, he's done that. So there is scope to also counter my own argument and go, okay, bring on Marino and Ethan Nwaneri. Why can't these youngsters get a game? Why can't some of the attacking flair come on with the defensive stability? So like I said, I don't know your previous points, but there is also scope to sort of say, yeah, okay, bring on Mikel Marino. But why can't you also bring on Ethan Nwaneri in the same thing? Trossard, all right, you got the goal, but I mean, it's not as if he was pulling trees up. Why couldn't? Do you know what I mean? Why can't you make them subs? You know, granted, I'll never take away from scoring a winner. Wicked. That's isolating this game. Good for you, Trossard. You earned us 2 points for that finish. Weren't the prettiest thing, but who cares? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you just need to take the pig home, didn't you? And that's
Yeah.
what we done. That's what we done. You know, you can't always pull a 10 out of 10 in the nightclub. Yesterday we pulled a 4, but we still succeeded, didn't we? That's all that matters, you know. Saturday, of course.
Yeah.
I'm waffling on now, my friend.
No, you're good, man. You're good, man. I waffle on here all day, man. So whenever I get a guest, you know, I can appreciate. But I gotta
Let
ask
them
you though,
go.
Gyökeres, left hand, concerned, right hand, worried. Where are you on this spectrum?
I'm in the chest, worried
In the
and
chest.
concerned. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's look, listen, there's only so much, yeah, you can big up, brother. There's only so much you can make excuses for someone, and I'm not ready to totally throw the hammer down on Victor Gyökeres, yeah, because I do still appreciate the style of Mikel Arteta won't sort of kind of suit him. However, you know, what's he played about 10 games now, there or thereabouts.
Mhm.
There has to come a time when you go, okay, well, do you know what? Maybe you ain't doing it. And like I've been sort of criticizing the likes of, not heavily, but the likes of Florian Wirtz and you know other players and things like that just haven't quite cut. So I have to hold the same standards to my own players, and I always will do. It's the same point. Now we've got to the point of Victor Gyökeres where you're like, okay, cool. You know, you're doing all of these off the run things. You're working hard for the team. Blah, blah. We ain't really bought you to work hard for the team. Yes, we want you to work hard, but we're not like, do you know what? Arsenal Football Club will win the league if we buy a striker that works hard. That's what we haven't bought you for. We're like, you know, if Arsenal Football Club bought a 20, 30 goal a season striker, we will probably have won the league a couple of times in the last 3 years. That's what we bought you for, Victor. And okay, yes, you have got these little things of being handcuffed by Mikel, and you know the system ain't what you used to. La di da di da. But at the point, it's got to come where, like, dude, you're a striker. You were the most prolific striker in the last 2 years in Europe. We kind of need you to start scoring goals now, mate. You know, you can't just hang on to works hard for the team forever. You've got to start putting the ball in the back of the net. And it's not as if he hasn't been flooded and peppered with chances, has he? But he has had chances, and some of them he's bloody fluffed. And there comes to a point where you've got to go, yeah, you haven't been good enough so far. That's not to say you won't be. That's not to say you won't run the team. That's not to say, well, you're probably clutching at straws with this last thing I'll say, but Mikel Arteta will change the system slightly to accommodate him. LOL. Yeah, do you know what I mean? But something he needs to do better. He needs to start putting the ball in the net. Whether that's penalties, whether that's crappy Van Nistelrooy goals inside the box, I don't care. Just make the net ripple. We paid 55 million quid for you to do that. We've waited for a striker since Aubameyang to see someone do that. If you ain't doing it, you might as well start Havertz. And that is just a demoralising thing to say. Do you know what I'm saying? Isn't it? Like,
you know what? That's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna ask you. How much longer do you give him? Because the reports I'm reading is Kai Havertz is touching grass, and we okay, Aaron.
He's been smoking grass for the time he's been here. That's how poor he's been. He ain't touching grass. He's been smoking grass, man. Go on, sorry, Taryn.
It makes more sense to me, right? That you can. It makes more sense for a manager to start Eze without Gyökeres than to start a Gyökeres without an Eze, because Eze can score and he can create. Gyökeres can't create. He needs to be on the end of chances. Gyökeres, we know his profile. He never pretended to be this guy who can be a TT, pick the ball up, run the length of the pitch, put a couple scousers on their ass, and he's never pretended to be that. We know his profile, right? So then we bring him to Arsenal, and he has had some chances, but like you said, he hasn't been rippled with chances. And I do believe that he is playing on eggshells, so to speak, where you notice that Erling Haaland never snatches at his chances because he knows that another chance is coming and coming. Yeah. We seem to struggle to create chances. So whenever he does get one, he feels so much pressure that he snatches at it. You know, so he's not it's like we're asking him to fuck his imaginary girlfriend. Like we're asking him to score chances that he's not getting. Like Leno did make two good saves of two that he got on target,
Yeah,
but
smart
I'm
saves, didn't they? But
yeah.
saves you
So
expect, yeah.
I don't know how much time he has because Havertz is touching grass. He can't go another 6 games scoreless, surely.
Yeah. I
No.
mean, do you know what as well? Like, you look at the next sort of handful of games, yeah.
Mm,
You've got Palace, which is a tricky game. Like, but it's at home. Still expect us to win, but in the form that they've been in, you go, oh, maybe we won't blow them away. But you'd
mm,
expect us to put two past. And
mm-hmm,
then you've got two relegated teams. Oh, sorry, promoted teams. Apologies,
mm.
albeit away.
Same thing.
Yeah, and then you're like, then you've got a North London derby, and then you're like, what more do you want? You've got a home game and you've got two away games, but against promoted sides. If you're not going to score against them, and you're not scoring against Liverpool because you're not getting enough chances, let's just say, or the Man Cities because you haven't been given enough chances because they're tightly contested games. If you're not scoring against the promoted teams, okay, you did against Leeds, cool.
Mhm.
When are you going to bloody score?
Yeah.
So what it actually syncs up well with the question that you asked. Can he go another 6 games? Well, I mean, if he doesn't get the right amount of goal sort of scoring record or whatever, or put the ball in the back of the net a couple of times, and you're playing Burnley and Sunderland. I know Sunderland ain't doing too bad, but come on, come
Mhm.
on. Like, sorry, dude, you've just got to be putting the ball in the back of the net. And if you're not doing it against the promoted sides, who are you doing it against? Because you're not doing it against West Ham. I know they're not having a good one, but they're down there. You're not doing it against them. You're not doing it against the teams here and there.
Mhm.
Put the ball in the back of the net. When are you? You can't be going, oh, well, you've had tough games, this and all of that. You're then looking in them next 6 games, Taron, especially if you say in the league,
Mm.
you're then knocking on, 14 games, 15 games. You're not far away from half a season then, you
Yeah.
know. And if you've bagged one goal in your next 6 or 2, you're looking at 14 games gone and like, yeah, this geezer's on 4 goals. Gabrielle probably will be on the same or more goals by then.
Mhm.
You've got to start thinking, dude, you just definitely ain't doing enough. Hopefully, the other side of the coin is flipped and we see him pick up. He gets the winner against Palace and he's buzzing. We're buzzing. Hopefully, it's a bit more comfortable than that, but you get my point. And then he
Mhm.
goes and absolutely destroys Burnley with a nice, comfortable brace. And then he scores another 2 and backs it up maybe against Sunderland or scores 1 against Sunderland. All of a sudden, you're like, cool, he scored 4 in 3 games. Here
Mhm.
he is. We need to see something like that. And I think he desperately needs something like that. And
Yeah.
again, to end on my point I've already made, if you're not going to do it then, when are you bloody going to do it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So
Because you've almost played all the teams by then, Taron.
yeah. So here's the thing, right? And this is when I lose a couple of people, and then I really seem to be really negative because I'm gonna go back to the Liverpool result, Aaron. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to it. Yeah, and this is why.
Go to it. I haven't
Um,
spoken about it yet, so I'm
yeah.
cool.
Had we lost that game 3-2 and Gyökeres bagged the brace, I'm not changing the result. So we got no points, right? We lost that game, fair and square, but it's still a 1-point margin, right? 1-0, 3-2. And Gyökeres bagged the brace. Or at home versus City, we got a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw, and he bagged the brace. And you start Izzy in both those games to create for him. All of a sudden, the results are the same, but you have a confident Gyökeres who is scoring goals. This is why I was so annoyed. It wasn't the result per se, is the approach to the game, right? Because if you have a striker who is scoring goals, all of a sudden it creates a whole new dynamic for us. So when people say, "Oh, now we're at top of the league, what are you complaining about?" I'm saying, "Okay, we're at top of the league, but the same way Liverpool can turn a 5-point lead into a 4-point deficit in 3 match weeks, it can happen to us." Just like that. It's 3 match weeks. They were 5 for 5. We've only played 8 games and they're 4 points behind us. So if we have a rough November, this could happen. And we desperately needed a striker. Everyone in the fan base, this side, that side of the spectrum, admitted we needed a striker. We have one, and I'm not worried yet. I'm on the left hand still. I'm still concerned when I see, because Unapologetic Podcast say they created 8 chances for Haaland. Let us create 8 chances for if we did that and he did not score, then I go worried. Then I go full blown panic mode.
Do you know what? Can I jump in right there, right?
Mhm.
Because it's funny you should say it because this triggered a point that So I went to the Sporting Lisbon game in the Champions League away last year, yeah,
Mhm.
and I got there nice and early the day before, job done. And to be fair, Sporting they done it wicked. They had like cancelled like a little road off, and they had all these like big like vans of food and beer and everything like that. Like they'd done the match day wicked, to be fair.
Mhm.
And I was there like, and I met up with a couple of people I knew from football, having a couple of beers, and obviously it was largely full of Sporting fans. And the ones that spoke English that I could hear, or the ones I asked them about Victor Gyökeres because I've always I've wanted him for quite a while.
Mhm.
And do you know what? A lot of them actually said to me, they're like, he needs a lot of chances to score,
Mhm.
and that's mad when you sort of think like he's got his high thing. But everyone said that to me. They're like, oh no, he's good, but he does need a few chances to score. So when you brought that up, and you saying Holland's had 8 chances and things like that, I'm sitting there thinking, could that also then be sort of in the Premier League? We're creating 1 chance, maximum 2 for him a game. If he needs 8 chances to score 3 goals, needs 4 chances to score 1 goal or 2 goals, we're only setting him up 2 chances, and one of
Mhm.
them might not even be that good. Is maybe that why he just needs to just have constant chances to get a high ratio? I don't know, but it actually just brings me back to when his own fans at Sporting were saying, "Yeah, all good, but Giza needs a lot of chances to put them away." And they're the guys that watch him week in, week out. So you've got to take their word for gospel, isn't you? Especially, more than one of them. So you just sort of hope for Gyökeres that he just does get chances. He does. We start playing a little bit more attacking, like you said. You're not going to bring the Eze's on and things like that, and you're going to have Marino, Marino, Rice, and Zubamendi. Where's the chances coming from?
Yeah.
Where's the chance coming from? So I get for that, but you've got to be playing a bit more of attacking style to give him a chance. And even then, still, he needs to something needs to happen, doesn't it? Something
Yeah.
needs to happen. I don't know what. That's Mikel's paid £15.6 million to
Yeah.
suss that out. I
Yeah.
pay 1,500 quid to whinge about it every year. So come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. But what we can't do, Aaron, what we can't do is what Liverpool did and just say, hey, we're top of the table, shut up and complain. That you can't use we're sitting at the top of the table to ignore the issues that are within the squad. Because
Absolutely.
if Mark asked, a super team, same as the Heatles, play like Prime Stoke. Yeah, there was a point during the game, Aaron, we were taking short corners and long throws. Yeah, Calafiori wiping off the ball for 15 seconds to launch, and this was in the first half, in the first half of the game to lunge it. And I'm like, we got Gabriel on the pitch, we have Saliba, these monsters who can head a ball, and we're taking short corners and long throws. And it's instruction, Mark. It's clearly instruction to lock up shot
Funny
because
time.
he knows that, the threat of them scoring is low. And now that you have a lead to protect, okay, I'm going to put on Moreno to make safe passes. Safe passes keep it ticking, right? Because if he can, and Shane Gouda would probably appreciate this because Shane doesn't hold it back when he goes in on Arteta, right? Where if you give him an opportunity to bag 3 points and sabotage Gyökeres and Eze in the same game, oh, that's ideal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because then he can
Win.
say, I'm winning, but I don't want to use these guys so I can make them look bad and still collect 3 points, right? That's the narc in him that
Yeah.
would do some stuff like that because it was unfathomable. If you're a Fulham, I started this comment up here, right, from Sheldon that said, what was Eze doing? Nothing at all. The whole team besides Saka was dead. And I hear that now. Okay, and to this point, Sheldon, I will retort and I will say, now that we're up a goal, now Fulham has to open up and come on into the game. This is where Eze thrive. You know what I mean? And this is where if Eze is thriving, Gyökeres probably, it's like it's proportional. The better Eze plays, the better Gyökeres will probably the higher chances that he will score. That's why I'm annoyed with it. It's not because Eze was dead. We played a dead performance against Man City, played against a low block and a 1-0 deficit. He came on and unlocked them and saved Arteta a point. That's what you're taking off. I can guarantee you that Fulham midfield and defense breathed a sigh of relief when Eze had to come off and Moreno had to come on the pitch because they know, okay, this is probably we're not going to concede again, but we probably won't score either.
The game's
In
over.
the end, we can look back at it and
Essentially,
it worked because we got the 3 points. But I just don't. I think now if he was taking him off so he can save him for when we play Tuesday against Atleti, fair play, but it just seemed a bit premature for me. I don't know if I'm being harsh, but it seemed premature.
Yeah, no, look, I get it, man. Like, it's one of them. We were never gonna. We have always accepted, especially over the last 3 or 4 years, we were
Mhm.
never gonna play like the Invincibles. We're probably never gonna play like the 22-23 side again. That's done now. Mikel Arteta's got too much PTSD of not being able to defend, so that's sort of gone. I think we sort of. It's not nice, especially
Mm,
if you're a match day going fan, especially if you're an away match day going fan, to sort of know that, all right, you've got the goal buzzing, but like you said, after scoring at 58 minutes, was it?
yeah,
Basically, for the next 35 minutes is going to be a dead rubber.
yeah.
That's that. And again, it sort of almost brings me back to a point I started with. That's all well and good. Let's just say if we won the league last year and won the FA Cup the year before, playing
Mhm.
this way, and you think, do you know what? It ain't pretty, but at the end of the year, I'm probably going to win something. At
Right.
the end of the year, I'm going to be in Wembley or I'm going to be at the Emirates lifting a trophy. You go, okay, not what we're used to, but we're winning. We can accept it. Until this manager wins something playing this way and wins something big, by the way, it has to be
Mhm.
something big playing this way. We can always feel a little bit like, well, we're finishing second, not winning any trophies. We're winning a good amount of games, but they're fucking shit to watch,
Yeah.
and we're not doing anything. That's what we're saying now, isn't it? We're basically saying, look, it's not pretty. Okay, do you know what? Cool. At the start of the season, you'd say, play like this, guarantee you 1-0 wins 38 times. You go, yeah, we ain't won the league in 22 years. Of course, I'd take it.
Yeah.
Still don't take away from it being painful to watch. And up until this point, it's unsuccessful. It's only successful when we are Premier League champions
Right.
with this. It is. Other than that, it might get you results most of the time, but who cares? If it finishes as second and below, who cares? It's all about first place. And and,
Yeah.
and that's it. He has to do it with this. If at the end of the season, Tarum, and we
Mhm.
win the league playing this, we'll go buzzing. We'll be buzzing. But he's got to win it. And
Mhm.
this is what people will say. They'll go on the ifs and the buts. I'll still go, no, we probably won't win it. They'll go, oh, you're so negative. And I'll be like, well, the last 4 years, I've seen us bottle fourth place, second place, second place, second place. What else do you want me to think? Like, do you know what I mean? It's okay. You've got 8-game bite-sized little chunk to go on. Oh, we're going to win the league now. Okay, you're only a fifth into the season. I've got 4 years of us bottling a fourth
Mhm.
place and 3 years of bottling second place. You've got a fifth of a league. Who's got the better bite-sized opinion to go on? Me and
You know
you
what?
and the chat.
I said,
Big up the chat.
yeah, big up the chat, big up to Cooper. Hope you're good, bro. Hope your surgery recovery is going well, my friend. Like I said, if you're an Arsenal fan, if you're a little bit on the older side, have any underlying health issues, heart problems, um, this season you might not make it. I'm just gonna your football team make you. Can you take 30 more weeks of that? Of KG 1-0 nail biters. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Nope, nope. And this is,
I don't
I know
want that.
Fulham are a good team and they've been
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
wrong end of some fixtures, but there is no way I can take 30 more weeks of that. But
Do you know what though? Can I just quickly
yeah, of
interrupt you there?
course.
One thing I will slightly say on that is when you look at the last 3 games, and the Newcastle game weren't actually as bad to watch because we actually went out with intent,
Mhm.
and I sort of remember looking on that and going, we've gone to a bastard of a game away at a real difficult ground against a bastard of a team that we've done terribly at in the last XYZ games.
Mhm.
And we played and attacked, and well, we went 1-0 down, but we won. And I'm like, that's what we should have done against Liverpool. That's what we should have done against Man City from the start.
Yep.
But then you follow that with the West Ham game, and that was only West Ham, but they'd also beat us twice in the
Mhm.
last 2 seasons, and then the Fulham one. When you look at the previous results of the last 2 years, we'd only got 1 points and no points in the last 2 seasons, and this year we've got 9. So there is
Mhm.
scope to say, all right, yeah, it is painful. Like I was probably on pint 8 or 9 maybe at the time of watching it, and I was still bored shitless. And trust me, like after that level of alcohol, including Stella, it takes a lot
Yeah.
to get me bored. So yeah, I was sort of almost dribbling with boredom, come full time. But I don't know, like I'll take that, and if it brings us to the title,
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it. But I know what you're saying.
Mm.
It will be painful, and it
Yeah.
probably won't take us to the title. But
Yeah.
another 30 match weeks, yeah, it's going to be of that. It will be a difficult slog, Taron. It will be a bloody, bloody, bloody difficult
Yeah.
slog.
And you know why it's extra painful? It's
Yep.
not the first rodeo; it's the fourth one.
Yeah.
So it's
Fact.
4 years of this going into invested in
Yeah.
not only our fixture,
What's that?
but fully invested in the City's
Well,
fixture and
in
the Liverpool
punt.
fixture. So now this year we're going to be invested in the Liverpool fixture, the Chelsea fixture, the Man City's. Now you know how football is fickle. We say 3 match weeks, 9 point swing. How are you feeling about who's our strongest challenger or still in the mix? Is it City? Is it Chelsea about to do a surge? Or are you not sold on City because of the Rodri injury and all that?
I'm glad you asked this because it's going to be one of my talking points for later.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, yeah, because this is going to be so Arsenal, and you'll agree with this, right? Last year, all the chatter was Manchester City and Arsenal, Man City, Arsenal. That's the title race. Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Came out of nowhere and won the title. It was so Arsenal that all the chatter is Liverpool, Arsenal, Liverpool, Arsenal, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City do that and sneak to the bloody title. It would just be so Arsenal if they were excluded and Man City end up bloody winning it. Look, I agree with the Rodri. I mean, Rodri has been unbelievable, and that was a catalyst for a lot of their downfall last season. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think any football fan, and especially any Man City fan, would disagree with that. What I would say is, I don't think it's about Rodri this year. I
Mm-hmm.
think if you take Haaland out of that, because he's what's he 20 and 11 club and country, that is just
Ned.
ridiculous. I
Yeah.
think he's got to double figures after 8. Ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous. If that guy stays fit, regardless of Rodri, that guy stays fit, they will be right there or thereabouts. If that guy don't, or even has, I mean, a month could be kind depending on what fixtures. So let's just say if he has another 2 month injury, like he did last year or year before, off the top of my head, I can't quite remember.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe they might be in trouble. Let's just say if he misses 6, 7, 8 games, he misses 3 games, depending on who they're playing, they might not notice. If Haaland misses 8 games in the Premier League, Manchester City could be in trouble because when you look at who scored their goals, it's not goals by community, it's goals
Mm-hmm.
by Haaland.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And he's been lethal. One chance finish against us. City didn't really create that much against us. They created that one chance. Haaland puts it away. He's not in the field. Who knows?
Who's walking a tighter rope? Us depending on set pieces, them depending on Holland. Holland dependency versus set piece dependency.
Yeah, yeah. I think Haaland over the last, well, if you include his time at Borussia Dortmund, has proven to be more effective at scoring goals and winning games than Arsenal at corners. So I actually would say Haaland.
Mm-hmm.
I always, I don't know about you, but I always wanted corners to just be another string in our bow, not our
Mm-hmm.
main scorer. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I wanted us to go, do you know what? We'll have Gyökeres that will score, definitely get you 18, 20 goals. Definitely get you 18, 20 goals. But we can score from corners too. I don't want corners to be our main striker, you know? And I think even though we've been fantastically consistent with that, I'm not going to knock that. Haaland's been fantastically consistent at putting the ball in the back of the net over the
Yeah.
last 6, 7 years, and he's only a kid for club, for country, and for 2 different clubs really for
Mm-hmm.
Borussia Dortmund. Unbelievable. So I don't know. Yeah, like Haaland, he does what he does. I think that if he stays fit, yeah, like I said, if he stays fit, if Manchester City have got a good chance. If he has a somewhat of an injury, I reckon Man City could fall off. Like I do. Let's just say, for argument's sake, now he missed the next 8 games. You
Mm-hmm.
could find what happened. Do you remember when they had Rodri with the momentum? Rodri went missing. Now, I think Man City lost like 4 games in a row in all competitions or something like that. And then once they'd done that, it was just all right. They picked it up a little bit towards the end of the season in the second half-ish, but they were done. They were like, yeah, we've lost our cloak of invincibility because Rodri had consecutive games like him not lost. Like it was ridiculous stat. I can't think off the top of my head. Having him in there gives them that verve. We might play crap. Holland might have 4 touches. If he gets fucking 4 touches and 2 of them are in front of goal, probably one of them guaranteed going in, maybe even 2. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I reckon it might be harsh to say, but some Man City fans will find out tomorrow whether LB agrees with what I'm going to say there, because I'll say it on the terrace as well. I reckon they will be there or thereabouts with Holland fit for the vast majority. He might miss 1 or 2 games, whatever. If he misses for a long period, I reckon they're going to be out of it. I just can't see where the goals and the performances are coming.
Yeah, I think it's a dangerous game, the Holland dependency versus the set piece dependency for them. But I will say that I have seen Pep and City adjust their style of play to accommodate for what is and what isn't. For example, in the Brentford game away, it wasn't happening for them going through the middle, and they decide, hey, over the top, 1 ball, Holland, he does the rest.
Yeah.
But it seems that when it's not going for us, we just do more crosses, try to get more set pieces, and it's accuracy by volume, and try to get on the end of one. But when I heard Pep come out like a month ago and said that he said his words, I'm paraphrasing here, when he said something along the lines of Rodri can no longer play Premier League, Champions League at a high level in a span of 7 days. And that when he said that out loud, I was like, okay, they're going to prioritize one of them. Now, can they get by Everton at home, who doesn't have Jack Grealish, who's their best player this season, due to the Premier League? Can they get by without Haaland, without Rodri? Sure. But over the course of 38 games, I think that will hurt them because he has missed. You know how we talk about Cole Palmer is Chelsea FC's missed Rodri. He is whenever he plays at his level. I don't think he's ever lost to us when he plays. You know, he is that guy. He's just, it's very hard to replace a Ballon d'Or guy.
He's the engine, isn't he? He is, everything that makes him tick. Haaland's everything that makes him win. You know what I mean? But without him there as a fulcrum, you know what I mean? It's Man City aren't the same team. They're not. They're not.
Are you subscribing to this thing with Liverpool playing hot potato with the pressure, just passing it off? Obviously, usually lose now. Arsenal title to lose. We're the Premier League champs. We broke the transfer record twice, but it's your title to lose. Are you subscribing to that?
Oh, sorry, that daughter come over again.
I know,
she's
right,
a little bit under the weather, man. Lover.
Sorry,
I'm really sorry. You might have to say that again. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, are you subscribing to the Liverpool playing hot potato with the pressure, saying it's Arsenal's title to lose now, even though broke the transfer record twice, Premier League champions? If we get Isak, we're walking the league. No Liverpool fan rated the transfer window less than an 8.5. Subs to the 10. Are you subscribing to that? It's ours to lose now?
No, and I'm not. I'm not having it as well. And do you know what? What brought a smile to my face when he was asking this question is because I had a little bit of a back and forth with Sam. Last week, Sam, he was being a big baby, and I told him on screen, I was like, "You're being a baby. Who's took the jam out your donut? Oh yeah, Liverpool's lost a couple of games. Now they're flapping around, they're crying, and I'm just not here for that. Do you know what I mean? You can't sit there all summer as champions." And we all said it. We're like, look, buzzing. And then they go and have that summer. We're like, yeah, man, fair dues to you. And they're lapping it all up. They're getting giddy for months. And quite rightly so. They're champions of the Premier League. Quite rightly so. They made unbelievable signings. Unbelievable. They're giddy. 1 second there. Case, I'm streaming. All good, yeah? Right. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Big up, my girl. So, right, granted, they're giddy. You cannot then lap up the months of all of that, and then and then 5 games in 5. Oh, they're winning late. Champions win, lapping up all the giddiness after 5 games. And when the 3 games don't go your way, oh, let's throw the toys out the pram. Oh, let's all have a little cry. Boo, bloody who? Come off it, man. And when I see you was on, I heard you say something like you'd lost a couple of subscribers, or I might have been wrong because I tuned in late-ish, so I sort of might have not have heard the whole thing. But you're like, and you said something brilliant. This is why I like listening to you. You said something in the lines of an old paraphrase, like if you can't take all of that like praise and then whinge, you can't listen to all of that praise and be happy, but then whinge when you get 3 games of crap and then be criticised. Go away. You're not the subs I want.
Yeah.
Like you've got to take the good with that bad. And I'm paraphrasing, so
No, yeah,
apologies.
you're right on. It's
Do
fine.
you
It's
know what
spot
I mean?
on.
That's what you've got. And I had that with Hassam. And I was sitting there looking at him. I'm like, I can't let him sit there and just start being a little bitch like this, man. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I don't
Mhm.
subscribe to that. Like, I'm sorry, you don't just go after, oh, now it's all the pressure's on Arsenal. No, it ain't. You're champions of Europe. You spent 450 some Euro, champions of England. You spent 450 quid. You bought Isak, you bought Verts, you bought Ekatike. I thought we'd all sorted out the old Frimpong for replacing, well, he definitely hasn't replaced Trent. And
Mhm.
Kirkes, and you replaced your backup keeper. Everything's all happy. You lose 3 games. That's it. You're being a bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry, Liverpool fans. I've got a lot of Liverpool fans in my chat, and I like a lot of the Liverpool fans in my chat. I do. They're always cool. But you know what? In life, bras and girls, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You know what I mean? You've been praised for a season and a quarter. Now it ain't going your way for 3 games, for
Yeah.
3 little match weeks. Now you're crying. Come on, man. Grow the fuck up. You know, the
Yeah.
pressure is still on you. Defend your title.
Yeah. Cooper says, "What does Ethan have to do to get any minutes? Onieri has been sitting on the bench. It's criminal. So it seems
Move
like the
club.
conditions for Ethan to play, we have to be at home, and Odegaard has to get injured. It seems that when those conditions are met, then he plays. They aren't met, he doesn't play. So Odegaard is injured, and we're playing at home. So against Palace, he might have a shot. Against Atletico, depending on how the game goes, he has a shot. But it was an away game at Fulham. Unless we were comfortably up, I didn't see him getting any minutes. I think Ethan will start on the 29th against uh, Brighton in the
Right,
cup.
yeah, right now.
But other than these Premier League games, I'm not sure. And then again, what are your thoughts next week? Because Brighton on their day can slap any Premier League team. We see them go down 1-0 to this Man City machine. Haaland scored early. We thought it was going to be a floodgates, and no, they fought back. They won the game 2-1, I think. So Brighton can play. We see they just did Newcastle in. They can give us a game on Wednesday. Do you do a full rotation to flex the squad depth where you rotate Gabriel Saliba in that? Or do you play a Premier League team with your Premier League team and get by? Because we kind of need this trophy, don't we?
Yeah, look, yeah, I can sort of see that point. And let's also not forget, Brighton have already beaten us at home in the League Cup. It might have been a round after. I think it was Danny Welbeck, I think, got a little dagger against us in the League Cup at home. In the early stages, it might have been the 4th round, 5th round, there or thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't just make wholesale changes. If we want this trophy, we can't just go, all right, well, that's it. 9, 10 of the players have to rotate.
Mm-hmm.
But also on the same metric, yes, Brighton are definitely dangerous. I wonder if they'll rotate a little bit as well. That also will have to be factored in somewhat. Will they rotate, or will they want to play their full team and go for this cup? I don't know. But in the past, they have somewhat rotated, not heavily. So there is that. They might not play their first team. For us, we've bought the Kepa Arrizabalagas for these games.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in certain positions, there should be rotation, because if you're not going to do it in this competition at home, there is a scope. Well, when are you going to do it then?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see, we've got 11 players on the field. I reckon we can 4. I think that seems to be like a fair 4, maybe maximum 5.
Mm-hmm.
But about 4 sort of changes. Like Timber doesn't need to be in this game. Ben White can be in this game.
Mm-hmm.
One of Saliba or Gabriel do not need to be in this game. And I say this very loosely, of course. Mosquera can come in. If you're not going to find Gabriel or Saliba a breather in the season, when are you going to find it from? So one of them can come in. So I've already named 3 players, to be fair. And I don't think that makes us horrendously weak. It's not like, wow, you've put Mosquera, White, and Kepa Arrizabalaga in. You're never going to win now. I think that's fair enough to sort of say. And then you probably will see, if it was me, because Odegaard's got such a lengthy injury now, I would probably like Rice maybe to be a one that missed out, to give him a breather, because he's played a lot of minutes for club and country over
Mm-hmm.
the last couple of years. So maybe
Yeah.
then you could bring, even though I don't like him there, you could bring a Zubamendi in at the 6 and have Mikel Merino in with Eneze. So that
Yeah.
I'm at 4 substitutions there. And of course, the Madueke's injury, and so on and so forth. We haven't got a lot more going forward. Maybe you switch Trossard for Martinelli in this one. So I know now I'm at 5, and I would still play Gyökeres because Giza needs a bloody goal. So I've just labelled 5 substitutions there. And what I said was a max 5. I think that team should be able to beat Brighton at home in the Carabao Cup. I just think it should do, and that's what we spent over £1 billion for, right? You know, I've not
Yeah.
made like, oh, get all your best players out there, play all the kids, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, my bro? I reckon that team should be beating a Brighton.
Yeah. I think he's going to use the Port Vale lineup, the same lineup he used against Port Vale during the cup. Yeah. Barring he may use Hincapié in that game instead of Saliba.
Oh, if he's fit. Okay, yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah,
Apologies.
he might use
Yeah.
him. So you might see a Hincapié and Mascara. But he started as a Norgard in one area against Port Vale. But you will need some midfield solidarity against that damn Baleba. He is good. He is really good. Yeah, but
Isn't he just?
yeah, he is really good. But before we get to that game, how you feeling about Tuesday, my friend? We have the mobster in black, that is Simeone, turning up to the Emirates. Most people are expecting a dogfight, UFC type football. I think Atletico and Alvarez and them, he is back fit. I think they will come to play some football. And because of this league phasing, you need to be in the top 8. Around 16 points will get you through. I think it's very important that we win our home games.
Yeah.
So I look at Bayern and they look dangerous. They're the next home game. So this one, I would really like to get 3 points, but I don't know. I'm not very confident. I'm not gonna lie. How you feeling about it?
It's hopefully it's Simeone's audition for Berta to be the next Arsenal manager. Yeah,
Hey.
come on. We all think it, isn't it? Come on. But look, it's I like what you said there, because I think exactly the same. And that is, we've obviously got, some of the games are tricky. You've got Bayern and this team coming up. But it's going to be a dogfight. But, you're saying about Atletico playing good football. They didn't do too bad at Anfield. They weren't. I'm not saying they were gung ho, like let's go out Hail Mary. But they also didn't just sit back like we did there. They give Liverpool a go that game. I watched that game, and they really gave them a proper game. They did not hold sort of back, as much as we thought they would. So then, in some sort of instance, who's to say they wouldn't do that? Now, also, you can counter that by saying they've probably got a manager that will go, well, if we do that against Arsenal, they might be able to exploit us better. So then to bring it back, then you may see that KG, well, we know if we attack you, you'll find space. Well, we know if we'll attack you, you'll find space. So maybe they'll just do that. We don't know. All I want us to do is, if it's going to be like that, score from that bloody set piece. Or yeah. Or Gyökeres get your goal. And you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like some of these are the games where you don't mind it being a slog, because it's going to be. Like these are the games in the season where you go, don't really care how it looks, just get that win.
Yep.
And I think it's imperative we do get the win. Why? Because as you said, there's a real, the tricky game to follow it after at home in the Champions League against Bayern Munich. And, they've got the informed guy leading and spearheading them, Harry Kane. We all know he loves a goal or two against us. So I just sit there and think exactly when the points tally that you're saying to get you through, to save you them 2 extra games in the league phase. If you was to get a win at Atletico, at home, obviously, against Atletico, that affords you a draw against Bayern Munich at home. It just does. And why you could sort of say, you flip it and go, well, you could draw and beat Bayern Munich. If you do it the other way around, you don't have to beat Bayern Munich. Get the points on the board first. If Arsenal beat Atletico, you would just go, do you know what? Considering the run of our next games, I expect us to take a nice amount of points
Mm-hmm.
against the next games. You get 4 points against Atletico and Bayern Munich. Job cool. You've negotiated two horrendous teams in a league phase.
Mm-hmm.
There's no return leg. There's no knockouts. You've done your job as far as I'm concerned. Yes, would we like 2 wins? Obviously. Why would we not?
Yeah.
But if you go get a stinky win and you play a little bit poorly and it's a eyesore, I'll be there for both games. And it's a bit of an eyesore, I don't care. Do your job and then
Mm-hmm.
go, once you've got 4 points from them games, go and spank the other lot.
Yeah.
And then towards the last 2 games, if you have done your points, even if it's just the last game, I can't
Mm-hmm.
think it was like Period or whatever their name is. I don't know. I probably destroyed that. Play the kids. Play
Mm-hmm.
Max Dowman. Give him his. Do you know what I mean? Play even on Harry. Do that. You're through. Who cares? Just go. Just rest a load of geezers. But
Yeah.
now's the time when to do your job. Do you know what I mean? Get the 3 points, and do you know what? Even if you get a horrendous result and Harry Kane just destroys you, and you
Mm-hmm.
do lose against Bayern, it's manageable because you got the 3 points against Atletico. So
Right.
it's very, very, very important for us to start that, these next 2 sequences with a win massively.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Because I'm going to be honest. I don't think we beat Bayern Munich. I'm not saying we'll lose, but I don't think we win that game.
I
I'm
agree.
being objectively speaking. I don't. And they did go down early in that Liverpool game, and everyone thought the game was over. They never stopped playing this Atletico team. They played for 97 minutes at a very high level, high tempo. The thing is, the reason why I want to avoid that playoff, Aaron, last year, you never know who you might fall into because PSG was in the playoff last year and they went on to win this thing. So we fall between 9 and 16, and then you have to go to away to this ground or that ground. I do not want to risk. We've seen this manager under pressure. I do not want to risk. And based on progression, and based on we've told how we're going to do this Champions League thing, we went to the quarters, we went to the semis last year. We have to be in the final. I'm ready to book my ticket to Budapest. I love that city. Fantastic place.
Just don't do it yet.
Yeah. Absolutely love it, man. Boy 10 said the Bayern game is between Spurs and Chelsea. Likely I don't have a good feeling about that. All in my gut, I get the,
Taron, and just quickly, if we do get there, see you in Budapest.
Yes. So for people who don't know, it's 2 cities. It's Buda and then there's Pest. You want to be on the Pest side. Yeah?
I am a pest, though. It's perfect. Yeah.
I love that. I love it. It's top 3 cities in Europe. When I lived in Germany, it was my favorite place to frequent. I love it, man. Absolutely love it.
Cool, man.
Well, Aaron, what you got coming up, man? I'm so grateful that you decided to jump on this morning, man. I appreciate you, bro. What you got coming up today or for the rest of the week?
Yeah. So in the next 2 hours and 50 minutes, I'll have the OGs on. So I will be streaming with, of course, the wonderful Shane Guna, the equally wonderful DJB, and the equally wonderful Normski. So we will be there in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And to reply back to you, yeah, man. I see you was on, and I'd seen you just started. I was driving in the car, and I got a notification. I was like, "Oh, Taron's on," and I've got some time. So I thought, yeah, we'll have a little listen, and then I know sometimes it can be difficult for me to find time, but today I had time, so I thought, I'll send him a message. And if I'm lucky enough, I'll jump on and we'll have a chat. So I always like to try and sort of find time. But, we've jumped on mine for a little bit, but I love jumping on and having a chat with you. So I see it as a little opportunity for us to have a little chinwag about the Arsenal. Yeah. And I'm glad you was both, and we were both available and we could do this because I really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, man, thoroughly appreciate it. And I appreciate you putting it in the chat because I don't check my phone while I'm on stream. The phone. Yeah, when I'm on stream or when Arsenal is playing, the phone gets put down. I'm not the guy who tweets and pull the group chat up when the game is on. I'm locked in so I can know who to yell at when the game is over for my match reaction. Yeah, so it's one of them ones. But yeah, man, thank you. Appreciate you for jumping on. Big up to the chat. Big up to John, Storm, every single one of you. Absolute legends, and I thoroughly enjoy your football thoughts, opinions, and more importantly, your time, which is extremely valuable these days. So thank you again for your time. Like I always say, people, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, we are gone.